a quantum matrix more ancient than time itself, humming with energy, waiting to deliver, if you know how to speak its language. Close your eyes and imagine this. A beggar sits beneath a tree, unaware that right below him lies a buried chest of gold. Day after day, he cries for help. Day after day, he searches outside of himself for abundance, never once digging beneath his own feet. This is how most of us live, blind to the power coiled within us, deaf to the sacred signals constantly echoing through the quantum field. But here's the secret. Miracles do not break the laws of nature. They operate from a deeper law, a higher frequency, one that ancient mystics, spiritual masters, and quantum pioneers have all touched in their own way. A frequency that you can tune into right now. Not tomorrow, not after years of meditation, but in this very moment, through one shift in awareness, one act of listening. Because abundance isn't something you chase, it's something you align with. And this alignment begins not with striving, but with attunement, with the art of becoming a living antenna for the divine, a transmitter of coherent energy, a being so vibrationally clear that the universe cannot help but respond with synchronicity, grace, and manifestation. In this video, we'll unlock the ancient code behind this process. You'll discover how sound, thought, and intention activate the quantum field. You'll learn the overlooked technique that mystics used to bend reality, and you'll understand why listening, truly listening, is the gateway to manifesting the miraculous. But be warned, what you hear today is not ordinary knowledge. It is a frequency wrapped in words, a transmission encoded with the potential to shift your entire reality. If you're ready to awaken that dormant power within, then listen closely, because the field is already responding. Long before the word quantum entered scientific vocabulary, ancient mystics and sages were already mapping the unseen. They spoke of the Akasha, the ether, the divine matrix, a field of pure potential that binds all things together. From the Vedas of India to the Hermetic scrolls of Egypt, there existed a quiet but powerful understanding. Reality is not made of matter. It is made of vibration. In the ancient Upanishads, it was said, "As is the microcosm, so is the macrocosm." This wasn't just poetic, it was literal. The inner state of a human being, their thoughts, emotions, and intent were seen as reflections of the outer world, and vice versa. To change your world, you changed your vibration. And to change your vibration, you had to listen, not with the ears, but with the soul. The Sufi mystics would whirl in ecstatic trance, spinning until their minds dissolved into pure frequency. The Taoists would sit in silence for days, attuning themselves to the rhythm of the Tao, the flow of life beyond the grasp of language. In both traditions, practitioners were not trying to escape reality. They were seeking to merge with the field that creates it. Fast forward to the 20th century, and quantum physics begins to echo the same truths. Max Planck, the father of quantum theory, once said, "I regard consciousness as fundamental. I regard matter as derivative from consciousness." In other words, the solid world we touch is not primary. Awareness is. The observer affects the observed. The experimenter shapes the outcome. Suddenly, science and spirit are no longer strangers. They are dance partners. When Einstein wrestled with the idea of spooky action at a distance, he inadvertently touched the edge of this field, a place where time and space dissolve, and connection happens instantly. This too is how miracles occur, not through effort, but through entanglement, through harmony, through resonance. Esoteric teachings across cultures agree on this point. The quantum field of abundance is not some abstract force. It is alive, it is conscious, and it is responsive to intention, especially when that intention is wrapped in clarity, emotion, and sound. Sound, in fact, was revered as the origin of all things. In the Bible, in the beginning was the Word. In the Hindu tradition, the primordial sound, Om, is said to have birthed the universe. In Kabbalistic mysticism, every Hebrew letter contains a vibrational key that unlocks dimensions of reality. These weren't just metaphors. These were codes, ancient algorithms to harmonize with the source. Even Nikola Tesla, a modern mystic wrapped in the garb of an inventor, declared, "If you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration." He knew what the ancients knew. Abundance is not a matter of having. It is a matter of tuning in. Like a radio dialing to a station already broadcasting, we must learn to tune ourselves to the frequency of the miraculous. But how? How do we shift from being passive observers to conscious co-creators? That is the mystery we now begin to unravel, starting with the most overlooked principle of manifestation: the sacred act of listening. Not just to words, not just to affirmations, but to the silence between them, to the space where reality is still forming, still pliable, still open to your influence. The ancients left behind breadcrumbs. The field is waiting, and the miracle is already on its way. The universe does not respond to words. It responds to frequency. And while we may speak with our mouths, we broadcast our true signal with emotion, attention, and coherence. This is the unspoken language of the quantum field. Imagine this. You are a tuning fork. If you vibrate in harmony with abundance, love, clarity, you attract experiences that match that vibration. But if you vibrate with doubt, fear, lack, then the field mirrors that back. This isn't superstition. This is resonance. Every thought you hold, every feeling you amplify, becomes a command to the fabric of reality. So how do we tune ourselves? It begins with listening, not passively, but as a sacred act of alignment. Listening is how we enter coherence. It's how we shift from mental noise to universal signal. When you sit in stillness and truly listen, not just to external sounds, but to your inner hum, you begin to detect the subtle field that weaves through everything. This is the gateway. Because here's the secret. The quantum field is already responding, always. But what most people don't realize is that they are constantly jamming their own signal, like a radio trying to pick up a clear channel while blasting static. All the affirmations in the world won't work if you're vibrating incoherently. The ancients called this the inner temple, a space within you where silence becomes symphony, where the mind quiets, the heart opens, and the body becomes a vessel of pure awareness. When you enter this state, through breath, stillness, or sacred sound, you activate the latent power within you to impress intention upon the field. Here's an analogy. Think of your consciousness as a painter and the quantum field as a blank canvas. Most people are flinging paint with blindfolds on, chaotic, distracted, reactive. But when you listen deeply, when you drop into the stillness beneath thought, you remove the blindfold. You see the canvas, you feel the brush in your hand, and your intention begins to shape reality, stroke by deliberate stroke. The mechanism behind this is coherence. In heart-brain science, coherence is the state where your heart rhythm, brain waves, and nervous system align in harmony. When you enter coherence, your energetic signal becomes clear, powerful, and magnetic. It's no longer a scattered frequency, it's a laser beam of creation. This is why listening to specific tones, frequencies, or even sacred words can induce states of clarity and power. Binaural beats, solfeggio frequencies, ancient mantras, They are not just spiritual fluff. They are tuning tools, instruments that help bring your chaotic vibration into a harmonious, creative state. But there is one more layer, a forgotten key. True listening opens a portal to intuition. The moment you become still enough to hear the whispers of your inner being, you begin to receive guidance, nudges, visions, inspirations. This is the language of the field speaking back to you. And when you act on those subtle promptings with faith, the field reorganizes reality to support your movement. What seems like a miracle is simply the result of alignment. A synchronicity is not luck. It is confirmation that you're in tune. So ask yourself, what signal am I sending into the field right now? Is it scattered? Desperate? Or is it calm, deliberate, grateful? Because the field doesn't judge. It simply mirrors. And the moment you become conscious of this mirror, you gain the power to change the reflection. Now, let's go even deeper. Let's explore the mechanics behind this hidden communication, how intention, emotion, and attention form the sacred trinity that speaks to the quantum field, and how you can master each one to become a deliberate creator of miracles. To communicate with the quantum field, you must speak its native tongue. And that language is not made of words. It is composed of three sacred elements: intention, emotion, and attention. Together they form a trinity of manifestation. Alone, each is powerful. But when harmonized, they form the key to activating the field of abundance. Intention is the blueprint. It is the thought that sets the vector. But thought alone is like an arrow without a bow, aimed but powerless. Intention must be sharp, clear, and focused. The more vague your desire, the more diffuse your signal. The field does not respond to, "I want more money." It responds to the feeling behind that request. Do you feel abundant as you ask? Or are you broadcasting lack? This is where emotion enters. Emotion is the energy that gives life to thought. It is the fuel that powers the broadcast. In the ancient Egyptian teachings, it was believed that the heart, not the brain, was the true organ of intelligence. That's because emotion carries vibrational weight. A single thought infused with deep gratitude, joy, or love holds far more creative power than 100 thoughts laced with anxiety or doubt. The quantum field is not manipulated by logic. It is moved by vibration. And emotion is the vibrational bridge between the inner and outer world. When you combine a clear intention with elevated emotion, when you feel what you seek as if it has already arrived, you collapse time. You bend probability. You summon the improbable. This is not metaphor. In the realm of quantum physics, particles exist in superposition, multiple possibilities simultaneously, until observed. But the observer effect goes beyond sight. It includes belief, expectation, and most importantly, feeling. Your emotion-laced intention is what chooses the version of reality you step into. Then comes attention, the final, often overlooked pillar. If intention is the map and emotion is the fuel, then attention is the driver. It is your capacity to stay present with your desired reality long enough to see it through. And in a world of endless distraction, this is where most falter. The quantum field responds to sustained focus, not fleeting desire. Like sunlight through a magnifying glass, attention must be focused to ignite. Now, here's where the mystical overlaps with the practical. Every spiritual tradition has had some form of ritual that combines these three elements. A prayer is intention wrapped in emotion and held with focused attention. A mantra is a vibrational frequency repeated with devotion. Visualization, when done correctly, is not idle daydreaming. It is a rehearsal for reality. The field doesn't distinguish between what is vividly imagined and what is physically experienced. Mystics of the East would visualize light filling their body while chanting sacred syllables. Shamans of the Americas would enter trance states, communing with unseen energies through drums and breath. Kabbalists would meditate on divine names, concentrating on letters that symbolized vibrational gates. In each case, the formula was the same: clear intention, elevated emotion, sustained attention. But there's one more nuance, a hidden dimension to this trinity. It's the state of non-attachment. The paradox of manifestation is this: the more desperately you cling, the more you push your desire away. Why? Because desperation is rooted in lack. And lack is what you're broadcasting. Non-attachment is not apathy. It is trust. It is knowing the field is already moving on your behalf. When you release the how and focus on being the version of you who already has it, the field takes care of the delivery. Miracles are not summoned through strain. They arrive through alignment. So what's really happening when someone says, "I listened to this and everything changed"? It wasn't magic, it was resonance. Their frequency shifted. Their intention became coherent. Their emotions aligned with their vision. And their attention finally silenced the noise long enough to let the field work its wonders. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you are. And when you are abundance, when you feel abundance, when you embody abundance, miracles cease to be rare. They become your default reality. Now it's time to bring this wisdom down from the clouds and into your life. In the next section, we'll explore how to put this into practice, how to tune your energy daily, listen deeply, and broadcast a signal so clear that the quantum field cannot help but respond. You now understand that miracles are not anomalies. They are the natural consequence of vibrational alignment. But to access this state consistently, we must translate mystical insight into daily ritual. The quantum field responds to your state of being, and your state of being is cultivated through intentional practice. Let's begin with the foundation: listening. This is not just about hearing sounds. It is about dropping beneath the mind's chatter and entering the frequency of stillness. Each morning, before you check your phone, before the world pulls you into noise, sit in silence. Close your eyes. Inhale slowly through the nose. Hold and exhale through the mouth. Feel the breath as sacred, each cycle a tuning fork for your nervous system. Then, listen. Listen to the hum beneath the silence, the subtle vibration behind your heartbeat. That is your entrance into coherence. 5 minutes here each day is more powerful than hours of scattered effort. Because in that space, you are not thinking about abundance. You are merging with it. Next, engage the intention-emotion-attention trinity. Choose a single, clear intention for your day. Not a wish, but a state you desire to embody. For example, today I walk as abundance. I speak as abundance. I radiate abundance. Say it internally as you breathe. But don't stop at words. Feel it. Create a sensory-rich scene in your mind where this reality is already true. Imagine it vividly. See the colors, hear the sounds, feel the textures. Now, activate elevated emotion. This is where most people fail. They visualize without feeling. The field listens to the heart, not just the head. So as you imagine your future, summon gratitude, not for what might happen, but as if it has already arrived. Gratitude is the emotional signature of receiving. It bridges the gap between desire and manifestation. Once your emotion is high, bring in focused attention. hold the feeling for at least 2 minutes. No distractions, no doubts, just total immersion. If your mind wanders, gently return. Like training a muscle, attention grows with use. Over time, these 2 minutes can become 5, then 10, and your signal becomes increasingly coherent. To amplify this practice, introduce sacred sound. Play solfeggio frequencies, specifically 528 Hz for love and abundance, or 639 Hz for heart coherence. These tones work like energetic scaffolding, reinforcing your vibration and helping your body align with higher frequencies. You can also chant mantras like Om Shrim Maha Lakshmiye Namaha, a vibration of abundance in the Hindu tradition, or simply hum, a practice shown to activate the vagus nerve and calm the nervous system. You may also use affirmations, but not as empty repetition. Speak them with emotion and only when you are already in a high state. Examples: I am the field in form. I magnetize miracles effortlessly. My vibration is my currency, and I am infinitely wealthy. The universe responds to my frequency, not my words. These are not to convince the field. They are to align you with the version of yourself who already lives the miracle. Finally, let's address the enemy of manifestation: doubt. Doubt is a distortion in your signal. It tells the field 2 things. I want this, but also, I don't believe I can have it. That contradiction weakens your broadcast. The antidote is evidence. Start keeping a miracle journal. Each night, write down every small synchronicity, unexpected blessing, or moment of alignment that occurred. As you gather proof, your belief strengthens. And belief is the bridge between the invisible and the visible. This practice is not about force. It is about frequency. It is about remembering that you are not a beggar at the gates of the universe. You are the field in form. You are the one broadcasting the signal, and you always were. Now carry this wisdom into your life. Make listening a sacred daily act. Choose your state before the world chooses it for you. And watch as the improbable becomes inevitable. The power to manifest miracles does not lie in distant temples or ancient scrolls. It lies within the silent depths of your being. You are not separate from the quantum field. You are not a spectator. You are the source, the signal, and the receiver. Every thought, every emotion, every intention you project into the silence is a brushstroke upon the canvas of reality. You now hold the keys: intention, emotion, attention. These are not just abstract concepts. They are the sacred instruments of creation. When you learn to wield them with grace and precision, life begins to shift. Synchronicities appear. Doors open without effort. Ideas spark seemingly from nowhere, and what once felt impossible becomes inevitable. But remember, this is not a one-time ritual. This is a way of being, a frequency you must choose again and again, not through strain, but through surrender. Not through begging the universe, but by becoming the version of yourself who already has what you seek. So, listen again. Not just to this video, but to the stillness within. Let it remind you of who you truly are. Let it awaken the memory that the ancient sages, mystics, and prophets tried to preserve through their symbols and songs. You are the field. And when you walk through life vibrating as that truth, the world can't help but respond. Miracles won't be rare. They will be your rhythm. Abundance won't be pursued. It will be what you carry. And every time you tune inward, every time you listen, you'll hear the whisper of the universe saying, "You were never waiting for the miracle. You are the miracle." If this resonated with you, take a moment now to reflect. What are you broadcasting into the field? What miracle is waiting for your alignment? Leave a comment below with the words, "I am the signal." Let this be your declaration, your remembering. And if you're ready to go deeper into these mysteries, into the rituals, the science, and the sacred teachings hidden behind the veil, subscribe to Grit Tales. Because this is just the beginning. The quantum field is listening. Are you?